Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out episodes 23 and 24 of Vinland Saga, the end of season 1, and I feel like we've built up a lot of things leading up to the end of the season, and considering that people have told me that this is more of like a prologue to the actual story, I really don't know what we're going to end off on. I have a couple of theories about it, but I'm not entirely sure. I feel like a big part of it is going to be Thorfinn like accepting that he's gonna have to figure out who he is and find a new direction. Like, I really feel like he's falling apart and doesn't know what to do with himself now that things are kind of shifting, and he has this lifeline to his old life with life showing up and reminding him about his mother and his sister and the fact that his mother's health is failing and that he does have a home and like is offering to take him home. Like, he has a way out, and I don't think he really knows what to do with himself now that that's an option put before him. And I also have a suspicion that maybe Askeladd doesn't survive the rest of the season. He's been definitely more reckless lately, and I think that he's very aware of his mortality and that like the world that he wants to build isn't meant to accommodate him. Like, I think he very much sees that he doesn't belong in the world that he envisions. And we had a little part with Knut in the last episode asking, why doesn't Askeladd want to be king? Like, why is he helping someone else succeed to the throne? And Askeladd said, like, you know, I could never be king, like, I'm just a Viking, which is kind of a conflict with how he sees himself, because he's half a Viking, but he's also half Welsh, and he does very much associate himself more with his mother, at least like his heart is with who his mother was, and has a hatred of his father, to say the very least. We got more of a backstory into what exactly their interactions, limited though they were with each other. So, you know, it's one of those things where I think he's embraced being a Viking as a way of like surviving in this world, and now that he sees that there's a way of getting a better world and seeing this vision of the stories that his mother used to tell him about, you know, like King Arthur and like the Avalon tales and all that kind of thing, he wants that to be the world that exists there, and he thinks that Knut is a way of getting to that. And he also knows that that's a world that isn't meant for someone like him. All of the things that he's done and the way that he operates in the world, it doesn't work for him to be in that world. So I do feel like his time is coming quickly to an end. I don't know if it'll end within this season or if he'll be part of season 2, because I really haven't gone into any of it. I know that some of the season 2 stuff is out in terms of like trailers, and the first episode has aired by the time I am recording this. So I've been staying away from it because I don't want to see like posters and all that kind of stuff and get an idea of what's going on. So I really don't know, but I'm really excited to see what the kind of ending note is for this series. But before that, we are going to have to check out the second to last episode, episode 23. So let's get into it. In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, whenever we start with the opener, it jars me a little bit. I don't know. I guess I feel like when we start immediately with the opener, it's because there's like a lot of stuff to get through. And they're like, just roll the intro so that we can get to all the things that are gonna happen. It's like when the credits start showing up before the episode has like ended. They don't have the ending song. You just like see the credits overlaid over the actual story. You're like, oof, we're getting into a bunch of stuff then. If we're skipping the outro song, there's gonna be a bunch of stuff happening. I wonder if this is going to be the last time we see this opener. Like, if the next episode might cut it out for the sake of finales. Gosh, Knut has changed so much. I mean, so has Thorfinn. But he's had like years of that change happening. I always feel like oddly nostalgic at the end of a season. Thorkel's kind of the same. Less fingers, but other than that, pretty much the same. Pretty. Also, sunrise feels symbolic of like a new beginning, maybe. Oh yes, the meeting. sorry. I didn't mean to. Is the priest around? Gonna be a lot of important people around. Is Knut's brother gonna show up? Oh, is that Thorfinn? He's a little beat up, one might say. Slightly, but not just, I think, physically. I think he's struggling in general. Oh, a lot of powerful people in the same place. Being able to talk about the assassination attempt. Mm-hmm. I guess there's that too. He has some powerful people with him. We had some people talking about Thorfinn. Ah, Askeladd as well. Lots of whispering going on. It's the unrest, right? People are having doubts, starting to change their plans. It feels like they're more inclined to agree to some kind of deal, or at least talk about one, right? As they try to like make new alliances for Knut. I don't know if that's what he meant, but Thorfinn's going through some stuff. Oh, look at the stark difference between those two, standing next to each other. It's very eerily quiet. You can like hear the fires crackling. I would need to break the silence. That POV though, of like the confusion and like disorientation of just him really losing it. I also think it says a lot that like him thinking that he sees Askeladd is what motivates him to move. Right? Like he only has direction when it involves Askeladd. That dead look in his eyes though. I don't know if he'll fight or if he'll just give up, right? Like he might not even try. Whereas like before he would have definitely fought back. Mm. Oh, okay. We're fighting back. That's good at least. I was worried that he would just like let them beat him up. It's this guy again. I'm not fighting back that time. I feel like at least then he's like in one place, I guess. He's not just like wandering around aimlessly. A lot of good use of silence in this episode so far. Because it feels eerie, right? And it feels suspenseful. Like something substantial is about to happen. Mm-hmm. Lies. But it's a show, right? It's like trying to dispel the rumors of that he might have had something to do with the assassination. He has to show that he favors him, otherwise people will suspect, right? It's all mind games. Yeah, is it gonna make people think, oh, the rumors were true, or is it gonna solidify people's belief in the rumors? It might be too generous. Oof. Yeah, I feel like that was a checkmate moment. I feel like also the confidence. I'm like, usually when someone's too confident, something happens to them. Oh dear. How's Askeladd gonna feel about that one? Yeah, not as in control as he wanted to be. And that had to have been like a specific attack on Askeladd, like knowing the connection and making that specific move to affect him. think it's probably an old friend. Guess somebody help him. He's sinking pretty fast. It's so nice that he has someone who like legitimately cares about him after so long. I just think he doesn't know what to do with it. I don't know if he knows what's right anymore, though. It's a long reaction shot there, which is quite interesting. I feel like this is meant to be inspirational, but I don't think it'll get to him. Yeah, that'll get to him. If you think about like what his father would have wanted. Maybe they didn't know exactly what that would mean. So it was a stab in the dark, but now they feel like they have some leverage. That's what I was wondering, but they do now. Maybe not anymore, though. All of that planning and strategy, and now he's letting his emotions get in the way. What did you say to Thorfinn? When your emotions get in the way, if you're fighting, you don't think properly. You're gonna have to pick. Whalers or Canutt? Oh, he speaks? Back to where it all began. I like that you have the light shining in too at this moment. It's true. If he were still alive, what would he be doing right now? He'd be fighting Finland. It's a good way of giving him a direction. What would his father do? Are we gonna get up? Walk into the light? Come on, Thorfinn. Ooh, it's good progress. Is Thorkel putting the pieces together? I feel like he already knows, and he's just like, I want to let you know that I know. Mm-hmm. See that him saying like the land my mother loved, and that's like part of the conflict, right? Like, does he fight for the ideal of like what his mother dreamed of, or does he fight for the land that she loved and that he associates so strongly with her? Showtime, Askeladd. It's just a challenge. Ooh, I really want to know what side he ends up picking. It's so interesting to me to have those parallels between Askeladd and Thorfinn, with this feeling of like a specific place being associated with the people that they love. Obviously with Thorfinn, it's this kind of mystical Vinland, like this kind of lore around this place existing. Whether or not it actually does, no one really knows, but it's kind of like this paradise on earth that people are trying to reach, and associating that with being like, well, if Thor was still here, he would be looking for it. He'd be trying to find that place. So don't you want to continue what he would have been working on as a way of like honoring him, or like taking on that responsibility? And I feel like that's a really good way of getting Thor's out of this way of life and figuring out that there's other stuff there. You know, whether or not he's going to get to a point where it's like, oh, I want to build a country where there isn't war or slaves or stuff like that. I don't think he's at a place yet where he's thinking that far ahead, but I think he is at a place of recognizing that his father would have wanted something else for him, would have wanted something more to his life than just revenge. I think Thor's would have been very disapproving of Thorfinn's choice to just spend all of these years being angry and vengeful towards Askeladd. I like that that's kind of the motivation of where Thorfinn's story is going to be, and I wonder if that is going to keep him connected to Canute, because I feel like Canute has a similar thought process of wanting to make a land better than what it is right now. So I wonder if he's going to stay with that, or if he's going to kind of go his separate way, if he's actually going to step away from Askeladd and the Vikings and that kind of a thing, and continue on with his own journey as we get into later seasons that I'm assuming at some point will cross over with what's going on. And then you have, of course, Askeladd with Wales, and having that be so strongly associated with his mother, and like he said, the land that his mother loved, and he feels like he needs to protect it because she loved it. You know, even though it's not this wonderful promised land, this mystical kind of place, it still is a very special place in his heart, and he feels very protective of it because of his mother's love for that land. So now he's kind of being pulled in two different directions. Does he choose his mother, or does he choose this possible ideal? Like, they're both kind of associated with his mom, right? It's like the Arthurian tales that she told him and believed so strongly in, and were the thing that like pulled her through the harder parts of her life, was like this idea that, you know, this perfect king would come back and save them. Or does he protect her homeland, his homeland, what he considers his home? You know, what does he choose? Does he choose something personal, or does he choose something that's going to be this great ideal that is going to help lots of people? And he's kind of torn in both directions, and I feel like that's going to really be his weak point. I feel like they're going to look for it, like Floki, like saying like there was something there and we need to like figure out where the weakness is. But I think it's also going to be a weakness in that he's going to be doing two things at once. And he said before to Thorfinn, like I mentioned, when Thorfinn's angry, he doesn't fight as well. His head is all over the place and he can't actually focus on what he's doing. And I feel like it's going to be a similar thing with Askeladd. If he's focusing on the emotional pull of this attack on Wales, he's not going to be focusing on what's going to happen to Canute. He's not going to be noticing all of the little nuances of how people are navigating and maneuvering people as he has currently been doing, because his attention is going to be elsewhere. So I think that it will cause a lot of conflict with his plans and what he's going through. But we have one more episode, and I really don't know where we're going to end off. There's so much use of like silence and these big long moments of like suspense that I feel like something major is going to happen, and I'm just like on edge about it. But let's get into the final episode, episode 24, and see how we're going to end off this season in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, no opener right away. But some eerie violin. I don't think you can do both. I think you're gonna have to choose. Some really intense music going on given the current circumstance. It's just making me like be really tense. Oof. He's pushing again, right? He's like trying to see if he can get that reaction that Suki talked about. Are we really gonna do this right here? We're gonna try and negotiate in front of everybody? I mean, I guess it's kind of safe. If he attacks him in front of everyone, that might be an issue. But, also, do we really want to be seen by a bunch of people going against the king's decision? Or also have, like, Canet who's gonna have to, like, adjust for this, like, on the fly. Just, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna turn out if him like play, especially like Askeladd just found out about this, so he's like making stuff up on the fly as well. Then I'm just like, are we gonna make the best decision right away? It seems a little impulsive for him. Usually he likes to kind of feel out the situation first. I don't know. I was like, oh, maybe he does live through the season. And I'm like, not if he's making impulsive decisions from a place of like panic. Like, okay, it's like, what are you doing? That's what I was saying. I'm like, you're objecting to him right away. Elaborate metaphor, but I see what you're going for. There's good reasoning there. Ugh. I don't think that that's gonna happen, but you know, at least they're buying some time. I don't know, but I feel like some other people might agree with the whole what's the point of subjugating whales when there's nothing there? Thorkel's like, they're gonna be fight. I don't trust that smile. It's all an act. Like Thorkel's like, I'm out. They're not gonna fight each other. Don't trust a hug. Oof. That's what I was saying. Ooh. Yeah, he's trying to get a reaction out of him. Make him unstable. Oh. Just remembering how excited he would have been, back before everything happened. Interesting to see him kind of notice the world, right? Like other things and not get so caught up on, his one pinpoint focus that he had before of Askeladd. Like he's seeing that there's a whole world here with other things going on. I feel like he's gone. Yeah. Oh, the panic though. Like he cares so much. But he doesn't want to lose him again after all that time searching, hoping that he'll see him. Oof. That is an antagonistic move to do towards the king in front of a bunch of people. Oof. Like everyone's like, what? Definitely acting impulsively. Feel like we might be getting to a treason place. Oh, we're threatening now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. What's the plan here? Ooh. Good way of getting him to move his sword, though. Um. Okay, we went to treason. We've, gotten to that place. Now what? I feel like it's bad because he's associated with Canute, too. Like, I feel like people might be like, he has something to do with it. And he's gonna have to act like that in person because, like, if he doesn't, uh, say, like, kill him, then people are gonna assume that Canute had something to do with it. Oh, yeah. Askeladd's definitely, like, in a crazed state of, like, I guess I die here then. I like that switch of, like, who's the idiot in this instance because, again, he's letting his rage decide his plan here, right? Like, he's not thinking straight. He's letting his anger get the best of him, just like he said to Thorfinn. Especially since there's a bunch of, like, nobles, too, that if he just starts killing people, it's gonna become a whole thing. Lorca's just like, I won't fight. Oh, is he pouting because he didn't get to kill the king? Hmm, I guess he did. Oh, it's a good point. You're being reactionary. It is kind of a good plan, though, if the king's dead, then his plans about going after Wales and Canute are kind of jumbled together, huh? That actually will anger him. Distraction, though. Yeah, I was like, he got distracted because of Thorfinn. Oh, this is gonna cause a bunch of conflict between Thorfinn and Canute, isn't it? feel like it has to be the prince, though. Because he needs people to rally behind him after the king's death. There's going to be a fight for succession. And it's like I was saying before, but like people don't really see him as a warrior. Yeah. Play the part. I don't think Thorfinn's ready for him to die. If you wanted revenge, this is your moment. It's a very important question. What do you do now? I don't think he knows. He's never thought about it. There was never an after. Getting in my feelings again. I don't think he knows what he wants. Ugh. Haven't seen that look since back when he was a kid and Thor's died. No management. Put that crown on. I mean, who's gonna argue with him? I was gonna say, some people are not gonna be happy about a new king, and they're gonna see it as an opportunity to seize power. I think some of the people in that room might see this as an opportunity to seize power. Ugh. Are they dragging him away? Yeah. Thank goodness gonna have a heck of a scar on his face, which I think might just build up the whole mystique of a warrior king, which might work out for him. Oof. Nice effect. And it's showing all of it right now. It's not just the things that happened after Thor's death, it's all of the things that are going through his head. He's not stuck anymore the way that he used to be with Askeladd. Are we catching up with people that used to be in his hometown? Where they are now? Oof. Pretty epic ending song there. So my prediction that Askeladd was not going to make it to season 2 happened to be correct. Though I was also right that it wasn't going to be Thorfinn. I just feel like Thorfinn killing Askeladd after everything that's happened just wouldn't have been the closure that it needed. You know, like it wouldn't have had the impact. It wasn't like Askeladd was made into this very like villainous person that was being pursued the whole time, where you would have felt this feeling of satisfaction if Thorfinn had actually gotten what he wanted, because I feel like by the end it was very well established that killing Askeladd wasn't what Thorfinn wanted anymore. It was just like the only thing that he had, so he just kept going through the routine of it because he didn't have anything else. So I feel like this is slightly better, and it's like Askeladd fighting for both sides, right? Fighting for his home, but also fighting for the potential of something better, and knowing that like that's not going to happen as long as the current king was in power, and saying, all right, this is my last stand. I might as well take the king with me, and taking that opportunity, opening up that opportunity for Canute and like the next generation of people, and also acknowledging that that next generation includes Thorfinn, like him saying like, stop being stuck here, right? He's like, go forth, there's a whole world out there, there's so much that even Thor's didn't get to do, and you're stuck in this boring part of the world with me because you can't get over the fact that I killed your father. Like, you're stuck in that moment and you need to keep going. And I feel like he just had this moment of like not being part, like the world has changed now, and he's like, I'm not part of the changed world that I want to see. So him kind of going out in that way and having Canute be the one that killed him, I think is very important for like the image, right? He is showing that he wasn't aligning himself with this person who killed his father, which before that you could clearly see them working together. So if he didn't behave in a way where he was very dismissive or angry about what happened, then people would have thought that he had something to do with it, which would have had like a bunch of rumors. I'm sure that there'll still be some of those, though probably people will still talk because Askeladd is associated with Canute. But being the one to kill him, I think, is really important to show that he is, you know, very firmly showing that he is not advocating for what Askeladd did. And I think it also shows that he has that warrior potential, because like I was saying before, he has more of this gentle, more feminine feeling to him, and I think that that might work in some ways, but in a warrior culture, I feel like he needs to be seen as strong. And if people feel like they can push him around because he's just this child who's never been in an actual fight before, then that's going to cause some issues. And now he has a whole room of some of the elders, these people that are in power, seeing him killing the person who killed his father. So, and a very talented warrior at that. So having that be a story associated with him as he takes on the crown, I think is very important for how he's going to keep that control, especially since he even brought up that there's going to be this unrest and people are going to revolt because they're going to see that void of power. They don't have that like established monarch anymore. So people are going to try and get that crown. People are going to try and take that power, especially if they see Canute as, you know, easy pickings. So he really needs to make sure that people know that he isn't going to be easy to control and that he can really establish his power quickly. So I think that that was important, even though it is wrecked Thorfinn as he was like starting to kind of recover and think about going to find Vinland and go to see his family. And I think he just needed some kind of closure. Like he couldn't just walk away and think what if, and now it's over. And I think that having that final image be him dropping the knife that he was going to kill Askeladd with, I think is so like powerful as like a symbol of what he's going through, is he's literally letting go of that part of him, and having all of the images throughout the story kind of play through the reflection on the blade of like he's letting go of that. I think there's a lot of potential for where the next season is going to go. I don't know what Thorfinn's going to do. I really don't know where he's going to end up. Is he going to try to find Vinland? Is he going to try and find home? Is he going to stay with Canute? I don't think he's going to be like vengeful towards Canute. I don't think that that's going to be where his brain goes after what happened. I don't think it's going to be like a rehash of the needing vengeance that we've had in this season, but I really don't know where we're going to pick up in the next season, because I feel like there's so much potential and it was just kind of left in the middle of this really important earth-shaking event of the king who has been kind of this big bad in the background for this whole season literally being beheaded. We'll see. I think that probably Canute's brother will be a bigger adversary in the coming season, especially since they technically both have some stake in having the throne. Like they're both potential follow-up kings, and the fact that Canute just kind of took that power in that moment because somebody needs to be in charge, I feel like there might be quite a bit of conflict there as people try to decide which side they're going to be on. So, and I feel like there's going to be so much maneuvering as people just try to see if maybe they can be the king, and neither of these sons take that power now that the king's not there to kind of protect the crown. So I think that there's just going to be so much stuff going on in season 2, and I'm very excited to be able to get into it. So I hope you enjoyed watching that season along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you miss next time I post a Vinland Saga reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!